but it will just fall out of this. It'll work. Shyla eggs with hair. It must work. Groovy wore gloves and still got them dirty.
Even if we wanted to try to fit something, it would end badly.
Oh look, it's lying right there.
I want some chicken soup.
To eat.
On Sunday?
Hello, you can come to the dyno now. Okay, we're heading out soon, alright? Bye. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Project Gross. And I'll tell you straight, these costs are starting to scare me, how much this cheap Gruss is turning out to be. If we add everything up honestly, you'll see for yourselves in the video how it looks. And another thing, when I was editing this video, I laughed so hard a few times that I cried. And I'm curious if it's just me who finds it funny, or if you do too. And if so, which insert do you think is the best? Let's get started. Alright, listen, we're trying to work with the Driveshaft so we don't have to cut anything. They're not taking it to Kristen. The E36, that's my car, and we're checking if the Driveshaft fits. Looks like it might, because this is a Driveshaft from an E46. We just pulled it out, and here there's an adjustment. Makes no sense. Well, actually, in our case, it does make sense. It would be nice if there was an adjustment here. So, yeah, my E36 is coming in handy more and more. Listen, here's a situational update. The whole drive shaft from the E36 is in. Look how tight it is. This can't work. It's going to fall out. It's definitely going to fall out of this. It'll work. Hammer shot. It's got to work. Makes no sense. The guys are centering the gearbox now to make nice holes for the mounts. My dear friends, I have the World Championship in Sim Drift. And I need to practice with some runs. I finished 7th in the qualifiers. The guys will work today and tomorrow. It's Thursday, starting at 9 in the morning. We'll meet at the place and see what these four will accomplish today. I'm really curious. I reached the top 16, but was eliminated there. Oh, right. See for yourselves. It's literally that tiny micro contact during the switch, which is really hard to notice. That's how insane the level is. So what? The guys fought until 10 post meridian. I'm just coming in to see what they managed to do during that time. Hello, hey.
Hi.
Oh, the adapter's in. Ships 7.1 boom.
Mrazny. It's not being dismantled. Mrazny is, and serial sniffers are adjustable.
The positive wire is already pulled through. It just needs a small push to be fully in.
Alright, we lifted the car up a bit. Here I see that the McPherson is preliminarily fitted.
Probably the suspension is almost completely disassembled, as much as possible.
As required.
It was welded under the drive shaft support. Mounting. Here we have the mountings done.
I also need to address one more thing at the start, since the body curves here, and I don't want the aluminum mount to crack.
The shifter has been fitted, and now we need to weld the connection between the shifter and the gearbox. And now what else? We need to remove this control arm, and here we have a computer numerical control mount, which gives us full adjustment. Alright, I won't keep you longer. I'll do a situational update with the camera in 2 to 3 hours. We see each other a few hours later, and now I'm going to proudly show off. We have a beautifully mounted battery by me. Vic, I made a mount that I welded myself. Here we have an isolated flat bar, so our battery doesn't move. I took off the rear bumper, and from the E90 from my diesel, I installed a massive rear reinforcement, so if someone hits me from behind, I've got some protection.
Here I can see we already have a hose.
The top of the radiator is on the fittings that are lying on the workbench. And
You made a hose yourself.
the manifold from the N42 was test fitted to make sure it would fit here despite the hoses, and
Plus, we have the engine pushed way back, which I'm really excited about. So the center of gravity is as close to the firewall as possible. I hope this means I'll be fast at TTS. That's it. Enjoy the time lapse. And there you have it, folks, a beautifully welded bash bar. My beautiful welds. The pipe here is nice. It doesn't even budge. There's another reinforcement coming. Check out these beautiful welds. I'll remove this beam from the rear bumper, and I'll try to mount the bumper here somehow. And the rear is done. Once I started welding, I just can't stop. Oh my God. Check out this cool jack point I made for myself. Ha! Now you can easily jack up the rear with a jack. Bam. And we're going up. All right, the package from Computer Numerical Control has arrived, and we're doing an unboxing. What do we have here? Wow. Look, it's even engraved with Computer Numerical Control, 7.1. Manual, screw in, 2 adjustable rear hooks, upper camber plates, little ends for the shocks, and pins for the camber plates. It's awesome. Listen. Damn, I had it all ready. Looks good, right? Still on track for the goal.
It's luxurious, thick, double-sided, and has reinforced corners.
So, we're about to mount it, and we'll have the whole rear suspension done today. Look, that's the difference. See how you have a much wider range of adjustment, which will allow you to make the wheels more convergent? And we have a full range of adjustment with the coilover, because when the car gets lower in the back, our assumptions made by our helmet at the BMW factory get a bit off. You just saw me grinding the control arms here since one is already installed. See how smooth, Flip? Now we have a nice cool lollipop here for caster adjustment, and I'll tell you how I do it. Look, here we have round sockets, but in the 46 there's a square one, and you have to grind that square into a kind of peg, pin, or whatever you call it. To know how much to grind, I tap in this Uniball, which marks for me in these spots where and how much more I need to grind. Because you can get too clever with it, and if there's too much play and it wobbles, unfortunately it won't work anymore, so you have to do it step by step. That's how it looks, that's how you grind it nicely and fit it in. If you're doing this and wondering how deep to go, well, about the thickness of a finger so you can fit this piece in later. So we're putting the second control arm into the building. This is what the mounted control arm looks like, and Prismx collecting skills came in handy because we have single-use head bolts. Look, Prismx mounted the shock absorber here. Go down a bit.
We'll lower it during fights, or if it doesn't fit. These are preliminary and adjustable arrangements.
And what's going on with Alan? Alan is getting ready for work. Well, my friends, adjustable control arms have been installed here, FIG, so now we have camber adjustment. Here's the wheel alignment, neat and tidy, with the FIG McPherson in place. The battery is in place, and here we connect to the manual system. We have steel lines here. You need to have the right crimping tool, and we run the lines upwards. So, my friends, that's how it looks. Today is Thursday, I have to go now, and tomorrow I'll come here at 5 post Meridian, which is Friday, and we'll see what happens. See you! Alright, it's Friday. I see the clutch from Adamatu has arrived. Thanks a lot, Adam. For clutches, only buy from him. Contact him. I stopped by, and here's the update. The Adamatu clutch that arrived, great work, doesn't fit our gearbox, which is from a 1.6 engine from an E46 from Compot, correct? Things were going too smoothly for a project like this. The front suspension, steering, tensioner, pulley belt, and clutch are all installed. That's everything I see the team has set up. It's getting interesting. And it's evening, 7 post Meridian. Now we're looking, and the worst part is that we have a nicely done clutch that doesn't fit. And we have a gearbox and drive shaft that we also matched, but it looks like we'll probably have to change the clutch and the gearbox again. I'll let you know what we decide. So, 10 minutes later, we were wondering what else might fit the M54B30 with a clutch from a 6-speed gearbox. Nothing fits in the yard. But I remembered that in the van I have a swap I sold to a friend with a gearbox and clutch from my E36. I'm just reversing now because I didn't manage to deliver it to him, and we'll see if it fits. So the situation is developing, and I'm curious to see what happens.
It's a big milling cutter, but maybe the swing will fit.
Oh, Silnorenki, as usual, handled it with his hand. I did it my way, so we have a hammer with 2 hands. What does this clutch look like?
It's nothing special, but it's not bad either. And is it different from the other one? We have a thick spline, which is important, but the focus is the dual mass flywheel. Let's unscrew it and check it out.
Let's unscrew it and take a look. Here we have a clutch from the M52B25 engine from a 5-speed gearbox. The disc doesn't fit our 6-speed gearbox, sequential manual gearbox, from which engine our gearbox is from the final drive. The 2-liter N46 Natalia 46 2-liter engines and a gearbox. 4 cylinders. Strong arm!
Wow, an ox. They say it's heavy, but it looks healthy.
Alright, listen, unfortunately the clamps are the same thickness and basically that doesn't do anything, right?
It lets you use a different gearbox, that's it. Not the one with the matched shaft. No, you need the entire set.
It all comes down to our flywheel being too thick, right? Too thick? Explain?
We're missing 2 centimeters from the bell housing to the block, and now the gearbox shaft is already hitting the bottom of the bearing here. We need the gearbox with a shorter shaft and longer fork, so we just need to swap it out. Even if we wanted to try something to fit it together, it would end badly. Shit happens.
Silno Renki has a lathe in his hand, and actually, Silno Renki, what are we doing? We're putting on the clutch for my M50 engine for my sold M52B25, and you just had to put on the bearing, right? On the crankshaft. So the situation is that the disc is so-so. But for now, we're putting it on just to start it up and for everything else. And maybe for the competition, we'll manage to cover it with Kevlar. Let's get to work. Give me a screw or something, right?
Przemek, damn it, you have it in your hand.
I'm holding the camera. What did you do?
I got emotional at this moment.
Now I noticed, I don't know, I think there's a problem. We'll have to extend the rod for the Siktor. Oh no.
Oh no! So I foolishly avoided it? Yes. And he folded. And he folded. And is there still the ending that I cut off? Oh, look, it's lying right there.
What a coincidence.
So we'll have to do the reconstruction all over again? After 4 hours of discussion about what to do with the shaft, because nothing fits anymore, and Gruby put on gloves, and worst of all, he got them dirty. We have a shaft that's too long, so we decide to shorten it. So, not here. We cut here. We put this in here, and this part won't be on the shaft, which will let us shorten our shaft by this length. But this creates another problem that if anything breaks at the competition, we won't be able to figure out what it's from, what car it's from, or what part, because the shaft is already made from different... No, wait, is this shaft going to be from different shafts or from one car? From one, yeah, from one. But which one? From this one? Probably, but we're not sure about that. So the only thing is, when we go to the store, the only thing we'll be able to say is, I need parts for a BMW. Oh, show how it sat down all the way. And what here might not be working?
Because yours won't fit. It'll be fine, or it won't. And now none of the mounts fit, none of the mounts fit. But on the other hand, the brackets came in handy, but it fits for you. We'll break it. We're going to the competition.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful strut bar is going into our car. The rear is in, and the front is waiting, and it's all thanks to the company Swaggear. Shout out to the guys. Alright, it's almost midnight. We're exhausted. Here's the situation. The car looks slammed. The rear suspension works like this.
It's even soft.
Because we have speed and rod adjustment for stiffness, the front is like a wheelbarrow. Listen, there's a twist starter, there's a clutch in the gearboxes, so we'll finish with positive energy on Friday. Wow, Saturday. There are also minor issues, as the guy I took the controller to said he can't do the MS-45. Troubles, Dajwana. But of course, that's classic when you're doing any kind of project. Our party guy has arrived.
I didn't party, I just slept yesterday.
Listen, here's more knowledge for you. From the E60, we have the wiring harness and the MS-45 computer. It fits really well into the E90 if you want to do a swap to a 3-liter engine, and it's more resistant to anything with mods and so on when it comes to this controller. The best one is the MS43 because it costs 50 zlotys, and you just needed to connect its wiring to a different harness, right? For Koretsky, I should swap the files and it should work. The MS45 is said to be more failure prone, but Przemek, tell us about the MS43. Your story about the guy making graphs on the display inspired me.
There's a guy who goes by Sorek online, and he has a display package that works like Auto Geiger. You can display things like engine load, temperature, and everything else it has access to in the form of a graph. As far as I know, he also made a version of the software for controllers that allows you to change parameters in real time. But for a long time now, there's been the MS4X website, which is dedicated to controllers from this Siemens family. There you'll find a free program for reading maps, copying, uploading, with checksum compensation, error clearing, and adaptation clearing. And there are 2 programs to choose from that can make those changes.
Listen, we have an overdrive 60 engine, and I'm saying you changed
Water hoses.
water hoses.
There used to be a cap instead of this upper hose, which is the cylinder head outlet for the return. Hot water flows here.
In the E46 version, there's a heater outlet, as the heater valves are on the return line. And on the return line, we have a valve. And from the valve, there's a connection going down to the middle fitting on the expansion tank. And here is the lower hose, which actually goes directly into the timing cover to the water pump. This is the water pump supply, meaning suction from the bottom of the tank, from the lowest possible position, suction to the pump, because
If we left it at 60, it would simply...
we would have air pockets. Here we would also have suction. And it's possible with the 60 because the 60 already has an electric pump. It already has a different reservoir. The entire cooling system is set up a bit differently outside the engine. But fortunately, it's very compatible.
And I beautifully painted our base for the shifter and the handbrake. And right, listen, Thomas and I are still installing the seat here. That's right, you can try it out. I'm sitting comfortably. Now it's great. I like the seat slightly reclined. And remember, the distance of the seat from the steering wheel, well, that's obvious, everyone knows. Your wrists should rest on the wheel when your arms are straight. But the clutch is most important. When we press the clutch all the way down, our knee should still be at a fairly large angle so we don't, God forbid, have a straight leg, because in a crash, our knees can bend the wrong way. Be careful, friends, and always adjust your seat. What about us and strong arm? We'll finish everything here soon, and we'll have a nice hydraulic system and a gear shift lever. Let's keep going. We have the handbrake installed with Tomasz, and the seat and the seat belts. There was a bit of tinkering, but we have the handbrake nicely mounted. The seats are installed. Soon we'll try to bleed the system. Luckily, all the bleeder valves are in. I installed the rear bumper. It looks great. Przemek is still working on the engine. The intake manifold is in, the wiring is in, and here we have the pressure that will be bleeding. And as usual, the fitting is leaking because we changed it since we didn't have inch-sized ends, so we won't be able to finish the brakes today. Here, Przemek has already soldered the wiring because there was liquefied petroleum gas and the injectors were connected here. Maybe the computer will arrive tomorrow. Exactly, because Podkoretsky probably saved us. We'll see, since he sent a modified file. I hope the guy with the computer answers the phone and returns it tomorrow. Now, time to assemble the front. The radiator is already in. Boom, hose is connected. Boom. We're mounting the front panel. So let's go to the time lapse. Front panel is installed. The fuel is also connected. Here we're finishing assembling the shifter. And the exhaust has been cut. I have to go now. See you on the next day. I forgot my camera today since it's Sunday. We have the computer but not long cables for the coils.
Unfortunately,
Give a report on what's going on.
the E60 needs the controller on the passenger side, while the E46 needs it on the driver's side. So we have a wiring harness that's too long from the whole multi-connector and too short from the coils.
The shoes are tuned. We're heading to the garage. That's what it is. These are the plugs from the coils. This one should be here.
Or here, I don't remember exactly.
In this one?
Somewhere further in here.
So something is missing.
What is in?
Alright, attach it there and let's go with this math. Either with a zip tie or wire. Przemek started cursing. So what's going on, Przemek?
There will be a bit more work. I don't have that kind of plug on the case. I don't have that kind of plug on the case. I have different plugs. Miko's compatibility is failing us now since this is actually an E60 with an E46.
I say to Madzia, alright Madzia, you know what? Let's put in the controller, start it up, and I'll come back.
She won't see you for a week.
And what are these plugs for?
From the engine and power supply, the main connections are made, along with individual signals from the body, some for gauges, and signals for the starter and ignition.
How long will it take you?
Well, I do it every other Thursday, so 15 minutes. Oh, you son of a... I have no idea.
We have other tasks, and replacing the entire harness and controller might be faster, simpler, better, and more reliable.
So everything I fought for all weekend, even pulling people from the wedding to get things off the computer, was for nothing?
It's possible that it was just completely not worth it. Seven is a lot for a pedal. 8 is a signal for a pedal.
He's playing Battleship, marking it.
9 fuel pump. Because here I have a description from the original Buddha controller, which actually comes from the plug that goes from Buddha. Now I compare, and if it matches before and after, it matches.
So now you have the computer diagrams here, right?
Yes, just the diagrams of those 5 plugs for the computer.
I'll still need to get the diagrams for these plugs here, meaning how the power lines run or how they slowly reach after the fuses.
Strong hand? No. And the strong-handed guy exhales, he did a nice fitting here. Now I want to lower this pipe. So he cut a piece off the bottom of the pipe, so now when we bend it, just like I bent it, it went down by 0.5 centimeters too little, because it will wobble here.
More. No load damper yet, so it's still not good.
It will still go on top. And the old damper, for now, we don't have anything better. Right, Philip? This is Cabanos. Cabanos, right? Do you like it? Cabanos? All right, my friends, I've been here over an hour and have extended the coil wires. Przemek is repinning the harness and hand-welding the exhaust. And I started recording because I have one last signal wire left. And now I'm going to do a little trick. Look, we have extended coils. Ooh, oops. Listen, look, damn beautiful bundle. Who extended it?
From the coils. Honestly, holding it would make my hand less sweaty.
Right now, Przemek is connecting the coils. The airbox was made by me too. It's mounted.
This is useless to anyone. This is also useless to anyone.
Is this needed to start the probe?
No, this is also useless to anyone, but I think that...
Yes. This is needed for...
Is it a pacemaker?
Yes, it is.
This is a pacemaker.
Wealth is pouring in, but what about Krista? Maybe I'll step aside. Holy sh... This is F asterisk asterisk asterisking incredible. What happened, Tomasz?
We're screwing the guide on wrong and that's it. So much work. I just want to have some chicken soup on a Sunday.
Alright, let's reattach everything and try again. Take 2. A leak in the intake?
No, assembling the engine in a rush. Once I plug in the idle valve, it'll run a bit more steadily, probably. Yeah, that's it.
There's a chance, right?
I'm glad it worked, Podkoretsky. Thank you, MSMOD Podkoretsky. Check it out. Good job. But, alright, listen. The important thing is that it started and it's running. That means the timing is set up.
Now we'll test the clutch, or whatever time it is.
Yeah, in a moment we'll put on the muffler and head out. We're putting on the exhaust and I'm going for a ride. Because the fact that it started is great, but whether it has any power at all is another thing.
I can point out one thing. That you don't have any brakes.
But who made the wiring for the coils properly? Additionally, we had to take out the crankshaft because these rigid crankshaft elements have to match each other. If you ever play around with the crankshaft, we install the crankshaft, install the exhaust, try to bleed it, start the oil pump and alternator, wake them up.
The alternator and oil pump might cause errors from unpowered components since some wires are still exposed, especially the oil level sensor, but that's all.
Not something that we're interested in, only holy shasterisk. There it is, ha! The strut bar is in. Bam! Once again, thanks Swagir for the awesome front and rear strut bars. The best part is it fit perfectly, keeping our body straight. We just installed the exhaust, tightened it up, and the drive shaft too. And we filled our system with coolant. Now we're going to bleed it. Are you soldering the starter now, or what?
Yes, that's right. We want it to stay with us for longer.
We're firing it up, heating the bastard. Look how quietly and beautifully it's running. It's Sunday. It's already late in the evening. That's it for today. There are 5 days left until the trip and things are pretty okay. Hey, ha! Monday! Listen, I just arrived in Boyki. I was in 4 places because I had to find tips for the manual. Nothing fitted first due to a factory defect in my pump, but with force, a 1-inch tip fits. I also went to get a pipe to make my own bash bar for the front. Hey, Przemek.
Hey.
Przemek is working on the rear, and I'm getting started on the front bash bar so we can finally close up the front for good. Let's go to the time lapse. So my friends, I made such a beautiful bash bar, painted it nicely just a bit. Alright my friends, next step, I marked where the wheels will rub against the frame rails. I also marked it roughly in the back, but I'll put the wheels on, take a drive, and then I'll know more or less the perfect spot. I've already done one side. I removed that part of the frame rail and straightened the sheet metal. So now I have it flat. I'll put it back in so I don't weaken the frame rail structure. I'll cut the rest for hammering and welding. My dear friends, here's a guide on how to bleed the brakes and the handbrake if you're connecting the handbrake into the system. So we have a pressure pump like this, it just helps us, but you can manage without it too. The important thing is, first we pump the brake pedal to build up pressure. Hold it, and at this moment, the second person opens the bleeder valve.
We open the bleeder valve.
We're still holding the brake pedal down to the floor. It has dropped, and at this moment we pull the handbrake.
We close the bleeder valve.
And now, while lightly holding the handbrake so it doesn't snap back on its own, we push it all the way down with our foot, releasing it completely. And why?
So that the entire actuator is filled with brake fluid from the reservoir, not with air, to fill it up and not to let it draw from both sides.
See how easy it is, my friends? We did it 3 times and finished. The moment has come. Yeah, it's for the first time. We're going to take it for a drive and see if it works or not.
It even moves.
My friends, we're on our first tough rides, and it actually drives pretty well here, you know? Now taking a calm look at it. We found that creaking sound coming from the backing plate. Hello?
Hello, you can come to the dyno now.
Alright, we're on our way now. Okay, bye. Alright.
Hey.
We just learned we can take it to the dyno for measurement. Guys, place your bets on its power. Grubby, what's your guess?
It's that it has a problem around 215 maybe.
215 and you?
I'm more optimistic, 220.
Me. I bet on 210. Alright, Alan, let's go to the dyno. How much should I bet?
I don't know, about 200.
Come on, shake on it. How much are you betting?
215.
Let's see. I say 210. Przemek says 220. Alan says 200. We're going on to the dynamometer. Where else would you go if not to Q&AP, which is on the same street? 200 horsepower. That's okay. Do you know what the engine temperature is?
It's suitable enough that we're going for a second measurement without the plate. Let's see if maybe the response will be better without the plate.
Second measurement without the flow meter. Ow. But it's different without the flow meter.
But damn, that's insane.
So does that mean we need to replace the flow meter?
It needs to be replaced or removed.
But what a nice graph now, huh?
Yeah, smooth as a baby's bottom.
Alright, 220 horsepower is fine. We'll add half a can. If it's a half can, it must be the Pulse Grand Touring. After that, it'll be about 230. I'm not a sellout whore at all. We thank Rob for his hospitality, and we're heading back to the workshop. Here's the official result announcement for those unaware.
218.
Oh. So Alan lost.
You were the farthest because...
You pay 10,000 zlotys. What issues do we face now? The problem is, do we replace it with another working flow meter or what?
It drives better unplugged, and usually on a regular engine that's fine, but here the temperature sensor is built into the flow meter. I'll unplug the connector, remove the flow meter, but keep the temperature sensor. This way, you avoid limp mode and can drive without the flow meter.
This flow meter can't work without it, even as an insert, but it's the same, so we can still install it.
Leave it like that.
That's the first problem. The second problem is that while I'm driving, I spend half the time with my left foot on the brake, and here it's set up like in new cars, where suddenly it cuts the power.
It's a system that saves you if your throttle or gas pedal gets stuck. If it sees that the gas pedal and the brake are pressed at the same time for a while, it will close the throttle, assuming maybe your floor mat got stuck.
And no, removing the brake sensor isn't a solution to the problem because I need to have brakes on the roof.
You can make the brakes work with the lights. You can do it directly.
Or differently, wait. No. Better? Shorter, faster. I'll send the controller the information about the pedal. Then I'll unplug one connector, but from the controller.
And nothing will mess up?
We'll check.
Alright, my friends, just a reminder, it's Monday, and from here, in the evening at 6:41 post-meridium after the dyno, we're saying goodbye on a positive note. We're saying goodbye, we're saying goodbye, we're saying goodbye, we're saying goodbye, we're saying goodbye.